something about after the talk. So if Balaji, you are here, can you please unmute yourself and
thank you very much. And whether I should say or not, she is my guide and teacher for my Sanskrit. And she went to Southeast Asia for research of Indian culture. And I was the ASEAN for the software and technology. But my ulterior interest was only to see the culture and all these pictures, as if she made me again travel to those places. I'm reliving it. That is, thank you very much. And above everything, that wherever I go, I could feel that Indian culture being deep rooted even into the families of these people, these places. I shared it with Shashibala ji. I'm adding it to her. This is from the intellectual side and the cultural side and all. Even I lived with the Thai families and China n number of times. Almost my posting was partly in China. They follow all the Sanatana Dharmas. The value systems are absolutely, please let us not talk of the politics of today. It's very hope for the best. So I would like to end her, and then I would feel that Shashibala ji, you must publish these slides with quotations of Sri Aurobindo, and I would offer it to do it. Excellent. And then we will get it for as a booklet for Sri Aurobindo Society.
Okay, thank you. I can add more. I have so many, but I think this is a good number of slides, 90 or something.
Good number with Sri Aurobindo's what we call a supporting spiritual quotation would give a different light to the external point of it.
Yeah, this is what I tried a little bit, not much.
Yes, it's really good. And Beloo ji and others, we will work on it and we'll come out with a small booklet. And I would offer my service for it.
Okay, thank you.
And it will be a booklet, not a book. I don't say a book, but with each slide, each quotation, there will be a. It's like teaching Sri Aurobindo's sentences with the lab exercises.
It matches. It synchronizes.
Synchronizes, and his statements with the practical for our normal human level. So I would like to end with Sri Aurobindo's one sentence, which is I read every day. Sri Aurobindo wrote it in 110 years back when he didn't even come to Pondicherry. India of the ages is not dead, nor has she spoken her last creative word. She lives and has still something to do for herself and the human people, and we are all instruments in this task for India to give her spiritual, cultural, and humanitarian, and there's no more lack of adjectives for it, to the entire world. And you are one of the perfect instruments. And being an ex-student of ashram, and I came there when I was 5 years old. It's more than 60 now, connected to ashram with grandparents. I would invite Shashibala ji to take some workshops on Indian culture in the light of Sri Aurobindo.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Balaji. I think that is an excellent suggestion to make a booklet out of it. And, I'm still in that mode of five dreams of Sri Aurobindo. And he speaks, one of the dreams is the gift of India's spirituality to the world. And what you have shown here is a perfect example of how that has already been happening for thousands of years. But as you emphasized at the very beginning of your talk, there is much more urgency and need for that today. So really, that is the take-home message. I see a couple of raised hands. Som Shri Sunil Shri Krishna ji, if you want to go ahead, please, with your comment. Just unmute yourself. And after that, Professor Chopade. Yeah, so Som Shri ji, if you want to first go ahead. I don't know if they are still there. He'd been raising his hand for quite a while.
He has dropped a question in the chat box that there is a lot from India, but nothing about Vedas. that you
Oh.
could see in my presentation.
Okay.
Yes, I would like to reply that you see what has reached there is Indian philosophy, Indian texts at various stages, at various periods. For example, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Upanishad, Manu, Smriti, all these texts have gone, and there is inscriptional evidence from Cambodia that when were they brought, who brought them, and why, and so on. Number one. Number two, there were Vedas taught in Bali, in Indonesia, and other places also. Number three, Vedic. When we talk of Vedas, one thing that comes to everybody's mind, people do not know much about Vedas. So what they know is the Vedic sacrifice, the fire ritual, the yajna. So yajna, the havan, now the people do it like havan. They are not like yajnas of the ancient times. But havans are done, it is called goma in Japan. And in thousands of temples, still people perform havan, goma, homa, it is called homa. They still perform it, and when we will later work on it, bringing out a booklet, I will add these missing things also, because today I thought it's too much, I can't show this so much. So I can add more things, and this kind of things that he has asked about the Vedic impact, that we will add, for example, Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana, and all these things, and Upanishads. And so there is yeah, wonderful. I'm just looking into the chat box if there are any questions.
Yes, there is one question from
Balu Chopre, Professor Balu Chopre has
yes,
raised
Professor
his hand.
Chopra, right?
Yes, yes.
Please, yeah, he's chairman
Yeah,
of
okay.
he's chairman of Anusandhan Prakoshth of Bharatiya Vidya
Shiksha Mandal.
Shiksha Mandal.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Madam. Madam Professor Shashibala ji, we are grateful to you for a very enlightening lecture to all of us today. I have one little suggestion to you. I mean, I see the thoughts of Maharishi Arvind and the work of Maharishi Arvind on Buddha needs to be, I think, written in detail, Madam, I think, not a forum booklet, I think, because this is need of time, such a great Maharishi, I think we had with us, and people are not aware about Arvindo's contribution to Buddhism in philosophy of Buddha, I think, in that. So that needs to be researched in detail, I think, and not a book. Maybe I think a great treatise, I think, a great volume, I think, could be created along with references, I think, and that would be really, I think, great source of inspiration throughout the world, I think, with that, That is my request to you, Madam, I think, Booklet will be very narrow, I think, and very, I think, short, I think.
This is what we can do immediately.
No, wait for some time.
Later
Maybe I
on,
think,
more work, and I will definitely add some more. Maybe around 200 we can add. They are just 90, but I can add 200 or more, any amount I can add. But that has to go with the quotes of Maharishi Aurobindo. That is more important.
Yes, I think. The quotes Maharishi Aurobindo, and beside quotes, Madam, his thoughts on Buddhism, Madam.
Yes.
That needs, again, Madam, interpreted very extensively, Madam.
Yes.
Because that is missing in Indian literature. That's my observation, I think. So please, I think, if you could do that one, I think. Because see, Vivekananda says, if I get 1 ounce of Buddha, my life will be fulfilled. Swami Vivekananda says like that, I think. And therefore, I sincerely feel that we have to really put a lot of insights, in lot of, I think, research into this, I think, aspect which I have told, I think. And probably, the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan and the Aurobindo Ashram together can able to have a joint project, I think, So that is something very creative. And I think this work should go all over the world, Madam, I think.
Why don't you support it? Why don't you support it?
No, we'll also think, what Arif can do. But I sincerely feel this is, Madam, really, great treasure of knowledge which you have, which you have expressed in your, I think, presentation. We didn't know, I think, Maharishi Aurobindo's thoughts on Buddha, Madam, I think, and many people do not know, Madam.
On life. Actually, I added more on life, gender.
Correct.
Which synchronizes with what I showed.
And a second important question, I think, about Vedas. Of course, Vedas are, I think, very important for Indian culture, I think. But I think you have to be very careful, I think, because see, Vedas evolve, I think, in different parts like Japan, I think, or Tibet, I think, they evolve in different way after. But Buddha supported, I think, these Vedas, I think, because he revolted. So again, one has to
just can I
But that
can I
needs to
correct
be,
it? Buddha never reacted against Hindus. Never.
Yes, yes,
Not there is not a single word. It is all this. This is a created, a concocted theory that Buddha was against Hindus. No, never.
No,
Not
he
a
was not
single
against.
word.
No, he was not against. But what I want
Never.
to say, but this point needs to be again, supported very much, madam. I think, I mean, we must support. Basically, I believe that Buddhism is a part of Hinduism. It's not different.
It is not different, but you see the way the situation today is, there are a few things for which we have to just keep quiet.
Yeah. Okay.
Because we
Okay,
have to work internationally, at the global level.
Yes.
So we cannot say that it is a part.
Okay.
It evolved from India. It is an
Of course.
Indic religion. We can say it
Yes,
is
yes.
Indian, it is Indic, but then there are reactions. So
Yes.
Yes.
Let us avoid the reactions. Let us
Yeah,
avoid the reaction.
yeah.
I agree
So
with you.
in Thailand, they say as smooth as silk. So one should have a smooth life and smooth relations.
No, that's great. That's a good point.
There is one more hand raised by Dr.
Just to intervene here just for a moment. It would be good if we can keep the questions focused around Dr. Shashibala's presentation, because there can be so many other questions that can, related thoughts. So just in the interest of time, Mr. Khanindra Pathak, please.
Namaste. Yes. So this is really very exciting and very educating and inspiring talk. I have got one observations and request. That is the spreading of Sanatan Dharma all over the world. It took place not as a propagation of knowledge. What I feel is an embedment into the society. And to revive it in our country, one of the things which we have in many of our societies have slowly reducing is storytelling. Many of our young kids, students, they do not listen to the stories. What I request Shashibala ji, the treasury and the whole knowledge under which you have, we need to develop in different vernacular a group of storytellers, particularly who are working in the primary schools or there. So this through the storytelling, this content, how we can make it. There are a number of storytellers. Once I tried with one storyteller from Margarita Coalfield, where I used to go. I'm a professor of mining engineering. So there I found some lady, a small shopkeeper. She was speaking stories very nicely to the children. So I had one that Sri school in one area of Assam, and then I took through this webinar only, made her to talk some stories which she has collected from different tribal villages, and it had a very good impact. From that observations, I am requesting you, if we can make in some of these our languages, Assamese, Bengali, Uriya, Hindi, Tamil, Marathi, Kannada, if we make a group of this type of storytellers who has got a good oration, who has got a very good thing and can talk in a very soothing manner to the children and telling these things and getting a group of artists to make some of the paintings and figures having the content of what you have shown and a new way of bringing into our school education as a supportive knowledge embedment into the society. Because nowadays there are very few grandmothers and grandfathers are there who can tell stories to our children. That is my request and my simple observation for your consideration, madam.
May I know your introduction, please?
I'm Professor Khanindra Pathak, a professor of mining engineering, and I'm also Dean Infrastructures of IIT Kharagpur.
Oh, okay. There is a good team working in IIT Kharagpur.
Anuradha is there.
Yeah, Anuradha. I know them well, all these people. Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I learn a little bit of Sanskrit from her.
Yeah, there are people. Tatiana, Professor Tatiana has joined from Montenegro, and Megha Kalyan Sundaramji, he has joined from USA, and I can see another from Bulgaria, I think. I can't read the name, I'm sorry. So, Raj Bahadur ji, thank you.
Dr. Chand
Yeah,
Bhardwaj,
Dr. Chand
did you
Bhardwaj
have
ji.
a question,
Yeah.
please? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, I would like to make a small little comment here, if you allow me.
Yes, please go ahead.
Now, all that work which has so nicely, Shashibala ji has presented everything. And as Pathak ji been mentioning, that it has to be conveyed to the children. And that's what we are working on. But we are doing something additional to that, which is explaining spiritual literacy through science and logic, without mentioning any religion. So each story can be really correlated with all those points which Pathak ji mentioned. We can really work together on such areas so that the whole world starts knowing the scientific background of all this. So this is what we got to work on. And I would like to sum up my talk that the whole cosmos is one living, pulsating universe, which is living entity. It has got floating material bodies, the universal mind, which is operating, and the absolute, which is energizing the universal mind as well as each atom. And we are all part of that. So we also have those three basics which are there in the cosmos. Our body is made out of those 100 and odd elements, which is material, floating material bodies. My mind I have acquired from the universal mind. My soul is connected to super soul all the time. So this particular concept that we are all divine is a beautiful area to convey what all other scriptures, especially the Buddhism and the Indian scriptures, including some of the saints who had talked about it. And I think all the organizations can join hands together to make a very comprehensive area by adding the science and logic into the whole explanation, which will become so easy for children to understand that what they are. Because even that seed is three. That seed has got a material body. The seed has got a mind, whether it is of a wheat or a mango. It has got all that information system and laws of nature embedded in it. And the third law talks about every action has got an equal and opposite reaction. And that seed has got that creative intelligence which is connected to its source. All the living bodies are like that. So having some of the basics and how we can really put it up to the whole world, that what India has really done, the Rishi Muni, yogis and all that, it was all descending on them in meditation. All this knowledge that how the whole thing has happened, it is all explained in Vedic literature. And Buddhism also explained it so well. So it is so close to make you understand that, well, each one of us is representing the absolute, We have got an acquired mind and a created body. So these kind of things, and then explaining them.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it. Professor Victoria Deminova, she has joined from Russia. Thank you, Professor. There are some former vice chancellors. Professor G.M. Agarwal has joined, I can see. I thank you all.
Thank you. This is great. Balaji, I think you had something you wanted to, you messaged me just now. Is she there?
Yeah, she was.
You wanted to add something?
Yeah, just I would like to add that we had studied as children in ashram, Mother's Dhammapada. Mother has written, translated, and also gave lectures on Dhammapada talks in very early days, and then our teachers used to take. And I often read whenever I go to any Buddhist monastery in Southeast Asia, I would refer to that. Maybe Beluji, you can just send a copy of it to Shashibalaji and others.
Yes, yes.
That is just a simple request so that they can get the view. And also Sri Aurobindo's, I have a collection on Buddha. So this Buddha religion, becoming a religion, every concept, every point of view, every horizon becoming a religion that has started in the very recent 1,000 years is ruining the very concept. Physics theorems don't belong to the one who invented it, discovered it also, isn't it? So the same way, the concepts don't even belong to the person who has seen it and given to the world. They are universal concepts. So each concept of, this is what Sri Aurobindo has written in Ideal of Human Unity and Human Cycle. So these three books, if you can widely share, Beluji, that's why I wrote to you.
Yes, sure. I will definitely send some links to Dr. Shashibalaji and
others also. So
yes,
what is this ideal of human unity? How religion has become a discovery of physics, H2O, is a nature's universal. I'm from science background and going into philosophy. So other people here, as they're saying, science doesn't, the theorem of science is not owned by the one who discovered it, you know. So why do we make it a religion?
Yes.
Just all are same. The principles of Buddha from one angle needed for the world, even other Abrahamic also. Nothing is denied. Each one is one concept of the universal. She chanted that Purnamidam, add anything, take out anything. That is the ancient Sanatana Dharma's philosophy. And this truth of Sanatana Dharma, which is open-ended as per physics. It's not a close-ended, isn't it? We studied it in our school. So it's an open-ended Sanatana Dharma may be spread with its cultural wings across the world. Please share because you are very good in linking up, you know, I request you instead of me. And she can further send it. And then the second point is, if our society, because I call ours because I'm a born child there, our society of Shore, and then my father was very closely associated with Bhavan. K.M. Munshi is the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, being a Sanskrit professor himself. So if we can work out on some cultural liaisons with this, our Bharat, the renaissance of Bharat, in the light of Sri Aurobindo, along with the research of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan and others, maybe we all offer our services.
Yes, thank you.
You would be the one leading us.
We will definitely have a longer conversation about this at some point in the near future, but I think
maybe if she can have one more session on mothers and Sri Aurobindo's not interpretation, explanation of Buddha's philosophy, Dhammapada, and along with the Southeast Asian Dharma, it can be a future session. This is the suggestion I wanted to.
Great, thank you. We'll definitely consider this. I just want to, in the interest of time, if there is any more questions or comments, maybe you can please contact our guest speaker, Dr. Shashibala, directly afterwards. But I would just like to make two quick points before we close our session. One is that, you know, in 1950, I think, if I remember the year correctly, K.M. Munshi ji, who was Sri Aurobindo's student, had written a letter to Sri Aurobindo about, you know, what Balaji just said about the Renaissance, the rebirth, the true regeneration of Sanatana Dharma. And he said, if this is the work that I should be doing, and Sri Aurobindo had sent a reply through, I believe, Nolinida or Pavitrada, one of them had written it while Sri Aurobindo dictated that. And he said, this is the work to be done. So to have someone like Shashibalaji from, you know, who's sort of like the dean, I mean, who is the dean and who's looking after this center that is named after K.M. Munshi ji is really a great matter of, you know, great honor and privilege for us at AuroBharati. So I really want to thank you, Shashibalaji, and through your presentation and the beautiful pictures that you showed, again, this concept or this truth that Sri Aurobindo reveals in terms of art appreciation when it comes to Oriental, Asian, or Indian art, when he says that soul realization is its method of creation, and soul realization has to be the way of appreciating this art. So the pictures that you selected, from temple architecture to beautiful scrolls of, with paintings, and cave temples, it really showed us, you emphasized this element of sadhana. These artists were sadhaks, they were devotees. They were invoking the deity's presence through their painting, through their sculpture. So that has really come alive through your presentation. I really want to thank you very much for this wonderful session, hour and a half. We could go even longer, but I have to be respectful of everybody's time. So thank you once again. And we will work on some of the suggestions that have come up in our session. Thank you all for participating, for joining us.
I would just add one line to you that yes, Munshi, Sri Munshi, he followed the path shown by Maharishi Aurobindo. He says that he was his guru. Yes. And one thing is personal, that the office in which I'm sitting and the table that I'm given was used by Sri Munshi.
Wow.
It's an old, very simple table, half broken, but I'm using it because I think it's a blessing for me.
Yes.
The room I'm sitting, it was his office.
Yes.
So,
thank you. Thank you for sharing this very personal.
Thank you very much.
It is very important.
And next talk should take place in Pondicherry. My personal wish.
Love to. Yes. Okay. Thank you once again. Have a wonderful rest of the Saturday evening, or wherever you are joining us from. Rest of the day. Beautiful day. Thank you.
Namaste. Namaste. Namaste to all who have joined. Thank you so much.
Thank you.